Welcome to Flystar Academy. In this video, we'll be showing you a basic pre-flight of a Charlie 172, basic things to look for when pre-flighting, do's and don'ts, and a few things other students may be overlooking. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. As you approach the aircraft, just make sure there's not excess oil spillage on the ground. You might find a bit, but that's just from the breather system, so that's totally normal. You'll now proceed to opening up the aircraft. And once you open up the aircraft, there's one or two things you just need to do to make sure you have a safe pre-flight. Always remember to hang the keys somewhere safe where you remember, and do not put it into the ignition no matter what. Now you take off the sun visor, hold it nicely and store it behind either of the pilot seats, so when you're taxiing it's safe and doesn't fly out of the aircraft. You now proceed to remove the control lock. As you're doing the pre-flight, you want all flight control surfaces to have a free movement. You now make sure that all the masters are off. We cannot stress this enough. Make sure all your masters are off and the key is not in the ignition. Now you lower your flaps full 30 degrees. You now make sure that you have a fire extinguisher in the aircraft and it's in the green. You will now move to moving the flight control surfaces and make sure they're not sticking or lagging. We now proceed to removing the pitot cover and make sure the pitot hole is clear and nothing is blocking it. We will now proceed to the external check. Visually make sure the aircraft is fine, no nicks, dents, cracks on the fuselage. You'll now want to check your stall and make sure it has free movement, and if it makes a sound from inside the cockpit, one of your masters is on. We now proceed to check our flight control surfaces, starting with the aileron. Make sure all three of your mass balances are in. Once that is done, you want to check the hinges of the ailerons. Make sure it's connected with all 4 bolts in place. Now you proceed to the center of the aileron. Make sure all 4 bolts are also in place here, and also the control rod is connected and has a bit of free movement. You will now check the last hinge, and 4 bolts are in place as well. You now want to check the flaps and that the bolts are in place as well. And the connection rod here has free movement as well. And then you also check the bolts are in place, and you check the last 2 bolts at the end of the flap. You now want to check the wheel. Make sure there's no brake fluid that's spilling or coming out of anywhere. You want to make sure the brakes are nice and tight and there's enough air pressure in the wheel. You also want to check the crib marks on the aircraft and they're not moved, and also that the pins are in place and well secure. You proceed to check the rear of the fuselage, make sure there are no nicks, dents or cracks as well. You now want to check the horizontal stabilizer and make sure that the horn balance is in place and it has free movement. Once you've established that free movements, you want to check all the connecting rods and all the bolts are in place and well secure. Once this is done, you want to check the vertical stabilizer as well, and the rudder is connected and all the bolts are in place, and it also has free movement as well. You now want to check the other side of the horizontal stabilizer and make sure all the connecting rods to the trim tab are also connected. You also check that all the bolts on this side of the aircraft are also well connected. And also that the horn balance is in place as well. You now move to the rear of the aircraft to make sure all your VHF radio antennas and all your antennas on the aircraft are there, and not damaged. You now proceed to the belly of the aircraft where you check that your radio transponder antenna is in place and not cracked. You also check the brake system on the side of the aircraft, make sure there's no spillage as well and the brakes are holding nicely and there's enough air pressure and your crib marks are set and the pin is in and secure. You now proceed to check the flaps that all the bolts are in, well secured, and also the connection rods are also well secured. You now move to the aileron, make sure all the hinges are well connected with all 4 bolts. The connection rod is well secure in place and has a bit of free movement, and that all 3 of your mass balances are also in. You also want to check your audio and your shimmy. It is sitting properly at about 4 fingers. You now want to check your engine intakes and make sure there's no obstruction of air going into the engines. You now open up your engine cowl. You want to check your oil and also that no bugs or anything has laid a nest inside your engine. You now want to check the oil in the engine. You want to make sure it's between 4 and 6 quarts. You now close the engine cowling. Make sure it's well closed and secure. You now proceed to check the top of your wings, make sure there are no nicks, dents or cracks as well on top of this air surface. Now proceed to check the amount of fuel. Make sure you take 2 readings to confirm the exact amount of fuel inside the fuel tank. We also proceed to the other tank to also check the amount of fuel inside it. If you need to refuel, please do so. But if you're happy with the amount of fuel, please close the fuel caps and make sure they are straight. You now proceed to straining your fuel and make sure there's no water inside your fuel. If you do find any water, keep straining until the water is clear. And remember, do not pour the fuel on the tarmac, either in the grass or in a bucket. And once done, please put your fuel strainer back into the aircraft and your pre-flight is complete. Thank you for watching. We do hope you enjoyed this. Please do share and stay tuned for much more.